And Pitbull's Wits have been hanging on to the multi-choice Disky Dream with the vice-like grip of the world's strongest man. Dylan Shepherd's men hope to reach the promised land after cutting down Mamelodi Sundowns' lead from 4 points to 1. We are still here. Mona Moshoshangube, Mori AA Giant Stadium, firmly within our focus for today's matches like yesterday. It's massive. It's Hasidlali. It's big talking points. It's football the way you want it, as only your World of Champions as well can provide for you. Now, so much pressure will be on these two sides. I'll tell you why. Orlando Pirates firmly applying their pressure on the top two after a 6 successive victory in yesterday's very impressive, may I say, win over SuperSport United. The fans, all eyes will be on Sundowns' game as well against Chiefs later on in the 12 o'clock kickoff. I'll tell you why. The significance of the game in the greater scheme of things cannot be understated. As the two teams walk out for today's match. Almost 20 points the difference between title-chasing Wits and the defending champions. We're going to be handing over the baton to a newly crowned champion for sure in the 2019-20 season. Wits coming into the encounter on 46 points in second position, while for Bloem Celtic, not much for the season in terms of the title to play for, but the top 8 is still well within their reach. Stay in 11th position, just a couple of points shy of all hauling those sides that are ahead of them. And they're on 25 points. As Wits in the reverse fixture, running out 3-1 victors. That was back in September. And Wits do have a September in amongst their mix. Jonathan September, who is the captain as well, was part of that game. Overall, though, 2 wins and a draw between the two sides in campaigns gone by. So they know each other extremely well. The two coaches would know what sort of tactics they're going to be applying in order to garner the 3 points. The much needed 3 points. Boy, the league is moving so quickly. We are down to 9 games after today's round of fixtures. Now, how do they set up for Dylan Shepherd? His team has been in decent form. They haven't been in sparkling form that we've seen previously, like in the months of August and September, where they were flying. It's a 4-3-3 formation. Jonathan September sitting at the base of a midfield ahead of Horn, Matebula, Phillips and Mahlangu. Alongside me is Motlokolen Gininda with his thoughts of the makeup of the team. Players that are you picking up in terms of making things happen for Dylan Shepherd? Motlokolen?
Oh, it was just a simple one. They know at the stake. They need to at least move Mamelodi Sundowns from the top and just try and solidify what they really need. That is 3 points, and sit on number 1 and wait and see what Mamelodi Sundowns does later on. However, Bloem Celtic a 4-3-3. Attack-minded. Can they defend against a high-pace Bidvest Wits? We're yet to see. I mean, you've got players that are actually quite players that you could look out for, like likes of Kamohelo Mohoche. Is one of the players who's always gonna try and be prolific up front and try and convert those chances when he gets them. So you need to deny him room most of the time. He makes good blind runs, but he's a player to look out for.
Yeah, the likes of Tankani Duru as well, who's leading the line for Bloem Celtic, has been a squad player for most of the season. Today he gets a start in his first festival. So he's going to get a feel of what it feels like to play when the world's eyes are on you. Bloem Celtic led by Senzo Mlodra, who joined the club at the age of 15. So one of the more veteran members of the side, the older statesman of the side, and a guy who will be carrying Bloem Celtic's tradition and hopes on their shoulders. It must be hurting that man there in the frame that they are unable to, well, defend their title as they would hope. So, well, today's match officials is 25-year-old Joseph Makubo from Mako Everton, to be assisted by Samukelo Charlie of Alexandra and Katlego Maja, straight out of Klipspruit. Former player as well. I'll tell you about his football aspirations. One of the smallest centre backs you'll ever see. Fourth official duties for to Bongani Mguni. I mentioned today's encounter. All eyes will be on the likes of Jonathan September. No Rowan Human, Mo. Interestingly, that's a big mix. A guy who scored in double figures, sits on double figures now, bagged 12 goals this season, just behind the league's top goal scorer, Nkosi Kona Dube. That's a big miss for coach Dylan Shepherd.
Yeah, well, it is a big miss. However, when the call comes in, you need to respond, because there's nothing that meets opportunity meets preparation. So for him, good state of mind. Bloem Celtic, we're yet to see what they offer in the absence of Deon, of him, of course, and Human, of course, against Wits, can they sustain it? Can they take that opportunity and try and capitalize against a Wits without Human?
Another man's loss is another man's gain, they say. And we are off in this 10 o'clock kickoff as referee Joseph Makubo gets us underway. Siwela Lasama Sokolara attacking their goes from right to left in their traditional green and white. In that commentary, I am Temba Boy, aka Mr. Sugar, alongside Matolen Kininda. Si Tuana Kibutumelo Potsani, Yesisulu Luvo, Bobeli. They're going to be giving you world-class commentary. You tell us what you've made of the festival. Mona Moso Shanguve. It's been in a 4.5 absence since we were last here. Hashtag it's massive. Hashtag Asidlali. Over 20 points difference between these two sides. Can you say gap? My word. And these are the defending champions, may I add, that will have really disappointing in terms of their title defense, but the curse of the multi-choice Diski Challenge continues. No team has ever been able to win the competition back-to-back. That was the first foul of the game early on.
I mean, if the bag is there in front of you, you secure it and you run. So that's what Wits did. Consolidated early wins. The second round now, they just need to maintain a certain style of play, a certain approach, and how they do not allow teams to dominate them, how they do not concede goals, because they're sitting on number 2. So it would be really great to see a Wits just fighting for that number 1 spot against the Mamelodi Sundowns, of course. And Bloem Celtic, yes, there's a 20 points gap. Changes are there. New players, new structure. The likes of Mukwena are no longer there. But a team you'd want to see in the top 8, should we say? Should we hope that they make the top 8?
That should add attacking from left to right in white and blue, as I'm sure you've picked up already. Good little start to the game as well. You mentioned the Wits in terms of how they've been setting up over the last couple of weeks. I mentioned the form has slightly dropped off, and when I mention dropping off, you'll be thinking a couple of draws, a couple of losses here. Not really. They got 9 points from 15 in their last 5 games. Last time they tasted victory was a 1-0 win against Polokwane City, the 18th of this month. Mapena with a 50th minute difference maker. Before that, though, they dropped points against Stellenbosch. A 3-2 loss. 2 wins sandwiched in between a loss against none other than Mamelodi Sundowns. That would have hurt big time for Dylan Shepherd. But an opportunity for him to win the multi-choice Diski Challenge in his maiden season. When his Chargers will respond. Now it's a Kamahalomo Hoje, aka Jomana. Moves it over quickly to his a teammate, Debohom Langeni, aka Sparks. Sia Nkonsani playing at the center of a midfield alongside Tsepo Motloyi. Look out for that midfield partnership. Not the biggest of players you'll ever see, but they rely more on IQ and the ability to read the game. Now, chance for Lungelo Tondolo. On sign from Malik Mashinini. Had a little look quickly to the official this near side to see if the player was still on. And they're called Kaiser Pena, only 18 years of age. Mojo looking for work. Lunkhonsana says, here's the ball, get straight into your work, son. As Jomana fouled, referee Makubo says, you betcha. You know, something I picked up at pitch side, and I don't know if you also saw it as well, the moths, should I say, more than one, so many of them.
In this instance, you'd want to avoid the fouls in a danger zone because the keeper is still cold. I mean, set pieces might temper with the keeper's acceleration on, ability to jump yet. Just warmed up now, committing fouls in dangerous areas. You don't know what's being orchestrated from the training ground.
The first kick from a dead ball in the encounter. 4 minutes on, it's Mlangeni who's hoping to spark Bloem Celtic into life. Interesting set piece, and they butchered that in the end. I think they overthunk it and they overdid it. Simple ball just to test the defense early on would have sufficed, methinks. we go again. It's a Mohorje. Seen quite a bit of the ball in the early parts of this game. Let's come up with a possession. Drop it right on the center. With the run from Sinenchong Mkiva, former Chippa United man. It's Turu. Gives it over to Mlangeni. That header is good enough. Deon Horn. Robertson born a player, well, gets a goal kick for his team's troubles. You got Ashley Makanya and co. And Pupu Muhlaba though is the main man in the absence of Dylan Shepherd. Guy, you know, got a bit about seen him for the last couple of years or so, particularly at under 17 level, where himself and Dylan Shepherd have been ushering the next generation of clever boys. Really built a strong team, but that particular team has been broken up. We got Kasim moving to Sundowns. We got the likes of Shungu Dutiru as well, finding a home for himself somewhere else. But he's still got the likes of Jonathan September. They've kept a youngster in and amongst them, Kinnan Phillips as well. Deon Horn should know each other. These youngsters came through different age groups together.
It tells you why they're actually sitting on number 2 on the log, because consistency is what they want to actually practice. Looking at the age group of these players, I mean, under the age of 19, 18 and 20, they still have another season to play together. It's a similar structure that SuperSport actually used to have, and a chain of players that they could utilize for good 5 years. I mean, same as Apramonteu, the attempts that they're trying to regroup the team, bring in fresh blood, introduce them to the game. Certain things, aspects maybe got them not converting their chances, not finding themselves in the top 5 yet.
Mohorje takes a tumble and should get the foul from 24-year-old ref Joseph Makubo. His first season in the MDC. He's been officiating just under 5 years now. That's a proper dive. Yesterday, we saw one of the best dives you'll ever see from a Chippa United player. My word, it was diabolical. Never seen a player just go out to con the ref so obviously, and no subtlety whatsoever. He forgot that there's no water, it's actually grass. Ball to be delivered. It's disappointing. You saw that dive, yeah?
Look, by Jacobs, I mean,
yeah, oh my goodness.
I mean, that was a rugby try. Score of a try, man.
Literally, he's not lying.
Yeah.
Couple of tackles are just almost stopping the momentum of the flow of the game in the early parts of this crunch encounter. Skips past his man as Tsepo Motoyi straight out of Buchabelo. Nice movement from Siwele Samasokolara. Oh, that's an hour tumble there right in front of referee Makubo. He says, I will not be conned. Mohapi. Oh, Horn, they call him the beast, Mo. You saw they pushed his man off Mohorje like he was not even there.
Well built, good structure. He's got the technique, he's got the power in his legs, takes good shots at goal. So not a player that you can just push over and hope that they don't fall. Stands his ground very well.
Trainers had a couple of good touches in that little pocket there. He's approaching the ball, having a quick look, scurrying the sort of territory around him, looking to get involved now. It's with Lazi Mashangu. No, in fact, there was Kabelo Makola. Captain Senzo Mlotra, as I mentioned, he's been around for quite some time. He's 20 years old. Been at the club since, been at the club for over a decade now. So we'll be hoping that he can turn the fortunes of this Bloem Celtic team around probably next season in terms of a title challenge, but the top 8 is still up for grabs for the man from the Free State. Keeper Cohen Prince, Pupi, as they call him, saved his team's blushes. Yeah, I found that and chuckled a little bit when I found out his nickname is Poopy for various reasons. Shot from distance here, Khosane. Haven't found their radar as yet of both sides. And the news as well, should an injury occur to Lerato Rantimo, a bit of a problem for coach Abraham and Deon. He doesn't have a reserve goalkeeper in his ranks today.
I mean, in this instance, you then look for a player that is capable of just diving.
How do you know?
Likes of Lucas Khatebe did it. These youngsters can. I mean, if you're a captain as well, you can also play the role. If you remember in varsity football, UT goalkeeper, female team, the captain saved the team, 2 penalties.
No more. Here come other men in green and white, and it was a free-flowing, very attractive looking move, but they're repelled. They reload the ball into the box. It's missed from the initial attempted clearance. They approach a quarter of an hour. Ball over the top to find the 19-year-old Makola. Makola is in full flight. Up against the captain Mlocha, who looks struggling for pace there, Mo. Ball still alive. Oh, Makola, he's here to play the man. Cuts it back on the 45 on the edge of the box. Now they're inside it is Tontolo. Just wide. Great move here.
Makola, great move. Composed enough. Runs them down, loses the ball for the first time, but he cuts it back in on the ball line. Yes, a combination play good. And now that is an awkward angle. I mean, you've got 2 players that could have actually found themselves scoring there. I mean, Simpiwe Mabena could have been a player to poke that ball into the net because the keeper had covered the first ball. Flat-footed maybe, Mabena.
Lose possession in an attempt from quite some distance. Oh, that's not a bad strike at all. Just over the crossbar, looping effort. And they're not troubling Lerato Rantimo, aka Figo.
No. Head up, picks up that the keeper is off the line, of course. It's like, no, I'm going to go for this one. Good power, good drive. It just dipped very late.
Now from one side to the other, just like that. It is, in that instance, Tepo Mutlo, you turned the defense into attack. I think the game's starting to come alive after those initial fouls. It slowed it down a bit. It's good to see.
Come again, yeah.
As I mentioned in the club's last fixture was a Wits win that saw Bloemfontein, well, really their title defense stuttering from there as the contenders started emerging more quite early on in the season. I mentioned to you a bit earlier, I don't think you picked it up. I think there's a serious moth problem at the pitch side. Like, I am not joking, the biggest moths you'll ever see in your life, and so many of them. One player jokingly said to me, "Oh, beast at it again." That's a DDT there.
I mean,
It's a good pass.
strong man. Stays his ground. No intent to play the opponent. Just protects the ball very well. I mean, there was an arm there pulling him on his neck, and he was able to run it down and able to just guide the ball out.
You know what that is? The basis form. Clever run from Mohoje. They need those kind of runs. Goalkeeper Prince quickly off his line. There's a good read there from the 19-year-old.
He's considered 7 goals this season, played 8 games out of the 20 that they've played. This is his 8th game, actually. The rotation with the keepers, quite good with Bits thus far.
Yeah, overall a defense that's conceded 23 goals in 20 games. Well, 3rd best defense after Mamelodi Sundowns and Pirates. Boy, Pirates been brilliant in terms of what they've put together defensively, and now they're starting to add that attacking threat. 12 clean sheets in 21 games. That's impressive.
I mean, the man of the match yesterday was a centre back.
Yeah, Sesan, yeah.
Well deserved, I mean.
Captain Mlotra, straight out of Ladysmith. He's the 20-year-old centre back, looking as if he wants to play in central midfield. That ball is going to overcooked. The heat as well is something that we should keep an eye out on. The temperatures, the mercury much more higher than yesterday as we hit a quarter of an hour in this encounter. There's Wits title chasing a bit against the former or current champions who are soon to be former champions. I think we can pretty much with confidence say that, with a chance though for Siwela Sokolara to get into the top 8 possession stats were in favor of the team in white. No surprise there. September. Horn to the feet of Mkiva. Stolen though cleverly by Chwene. Again, it's Mjomane. Leave the ball, left the ball behind, should I say, from Tlhagane Turu. Nice run to this near side to us from Mlangeni. And former Sibanye Gold Stars a player. Nice touches from the man from Kofreisdata. Yeah, showing signs of that form that saw them clinch their maiden multi-choice Diski Challenger mode. They were brilliant in that season, scored plenty of goals, but I think the key has been they've leaked in too many goals at the back and not giving themselves too much of a chance to stay in games. I mean, they've conceded 40 goals more in 20 games. That's the third worst record in the division. Good win from a September. Arrows a pass or forward to the feet or in the direction of a very exasperated Kabelo Makola. He wanted the ball to feet and not into space.
Plan was to catch Bloem Celtic on a break, on a counter. The idea was there. Just too much drive on the ball, power, pressure on the ball. Maybe he had to play the combination play, then open up the opponents, then try and find your teammates on the run.
One of the players taking a bit of an elbow to the face, but play continues. Lovely footwork from Trainer, but stopped dead in his tracks. We move. Machine in it. In fact, there was Dondolo. Mohoje. And Mo still change the subject a little bit. Bit of talk, particularly on Twitter spheres, about the potential 6-month suspension for goalkeeper Ricardo Goss and Samir Doughty as well.
Yes, the sitting has been issued. I mean, they've been charged. We're yet to see if they do get the 6 months or they will perhaps try and be lenient, taking into consideration that Pomakola one was revoked and it was just 4 games. So maybe the ruling has changed. We're yet to see. But it is going to cost the team a lot in terms of players that have been consistent, have been playing. Goss has been exceptionally well. I think the captain maybe could have controlled the situation from the teammates earlier, had he not went there to shout at the ref first. And yes, of course, Goss made the push and Doughty also followed with the push.
Downhill after that. Yeah, I mentioned it in our context. It gives a chance to a couple of the players on show here in the reserve side, the likes of September, the likes of the Cohen Prince. They may not get a starting berth, but maybe called in to be in and around the first team squad, like the likes of Rowan Human.
I mean, if an opportunity is there to advance, then you need to do it.
It's a horn on the back. Goes out for Bloem Celtic throw in. See, they pick it up there at home. Moss is an absolute problem down there. Never seen Moss that big before in my life. Dondolo.
I think the weather conditions and the area as well, the location of the stadium contribute to such. It's a very grassy area. The only thing you should be grateful is that it doesn't affect the game, it doesn't fly into the players' eyes. Had they played earlier on, maybe around 8 tough per 7, they would have that challenge because there's quite a lot of them there. But now that the pitch, there's some sort of body heat around it, they then fly off. There's movement as well, so
Thinking we can now add Moth expert to your list of many achievements. Yeah,
just pointing out the possibilities.
Oh, lovely improvisation from Chomana. And he was on side, ball over the top, not picked up a static Fitness Fitz defense, but Karen Prince, the royal of a save here.
Trying to build up from the back, Bloem Celtic patiently, finding one another, keeping it short, trying to catch Fitness Fitz on a break, maybe push them forward, force them to come forward and add that pace. Likes of Mohoche, smart player.
Been patient when in possession of Bloem Celtic. I think they're just edging it, approaching half hour. And the half hour, it's not really as progressive in the attacking third. But they have not been troubled as much up until that moment, that big save from a Prince.
You must give credit to that touch.
I mentioned that big moment for the 19-year-old, ball over the top from deep within midfield. I think that was from the double S, Siabonga Sila, clipped over the top. Keeper read it early more, that was the key.
The pass, must give credit to the pass. And the run, he is timing it very well. But the keeper, presence of mind, man, putting his body in front, enabled us to reach out for that ball, give it a different direction. Good charge off the goal.
Good improvisation as well from attacker Mohoche there, man, in picture.
He's a player who tries everything in the field of play. He doesn't go down without a fight. He doesn't let the ball go out without him putting an effort towards it, just to make it find a way into the net or try and force a keeper to pull a save.
He's a player who doesn't go down wondering.
Great,
leaves it all on the pitch. Big heart as well, the biggest of players. Well, it's the second corner for the Clever Boys to be delivered by the left back. Not a good corner at that. Skills from Mapena. 3 in the box. Mapena still looks to carve them open. Makola was the intended target. Hands in the air for striker Mkiva in the back post. So why the ball never arrived to me? It's a drinks break. Much necessary drinks break, may I add. Temperatures scorching down there.
So it really did slow down the tempo of the game and the pace of the game. If you looked at how it started, they started on a very high pace, high tempo. But later on in the 12-15 minutes, they started dropping. So I mean, the water break is necessary, taking into consideration the 32 degrees of temperature. So yeah, another way of maybe strategizing.
From around these parts, the temperatures around here just fluctuates so much. Yesterday we came, it was raining, pouring down absolutely, and then it just disappeared, became extremely hot. It was like 2 extremes. We come this morning, it's sweltering as if we're in a mini volcano. Is it going to be raining by the time we leave here?
Maybe tomorrow. But look, we're closer to the north. I mean, if you're closer to the north, you're bound to feel the heat. I mean, Bela Bela is just down the road, Artis is just down the road, so the heat here, we do get such, and I think Soshanguve gets the highest.
I find it strange that Mapena is wearing those tights underneath him, such strong and hot conditions. Look at that, the mercury at 31 degrees and you have players wearing those tights underneath, what do? Do they keep you warm? Keep you cool?
I think you want to maintain your temperature. The ones that you've perhaps see, and an elder brings you into the field of play and explains to you how it's being played. You must know that you need to become a young soccer star.
Well, back to the action from the Matalas and the youngsters in the crowd to the future of South African football. You saw a shot there of Jonathan September. He's third year at the club now, second MDC season. Captain of Bitbus Wits. Makola has been busy. Arguably has had the most amount of touches of any other attackers for coach Moshaba.
Makola's mastered what he needs to do with the ball, but it goes too much to the bar line. Maybe somebody needs to get closer to him, at least the right back needs to at least push forward. That is Lwazimatlau. Open up for him and just try and see if he can roll him the ball and whip it across.
That was delicious from Mohoja. First the touch and then the ball. Tries to open up his body, does Duru. On the rebound off the line. Officials say, play on, remove. It's all happening here at Giant Stadium. What a clearance off the line. For all money, looked as if we were going to get the games open up. Mohoja, a central figure to all things good for the team in green and white. Again, it's Njomana. Confidence flowing clearly.
Celtic Kalapazi looking for that goal. Mahoche being the instrumental player, coming deep with the ball, able to lay it for his teammate very well.
It all started from a lovely awareness from diminutive Mahoja. Now it's with his teammate who puts in a bit more power behind it. There was Mutoi by the looks of it. There's the man central to all things. Excellent for Isiwela Samasokolara, giving the likes of the man Keenan Phillips something to think about. The former, still current under 20 international, capped about 8 times at the international level. In September, improvises to keep the ball under control. Showing good form and good confidence of Bloom Celtic. You think it is they that are sit second in the log. In fact, their form suggests otherwise. 7 points from 15 more on offer in the last 5. A loss against Highlands Park as the most recent of dropped points. Before that, another similar 1-0 scoreline loss. That was against Amazulu. Shangas in the 65th minute there, doing the business for Usutu. Draw to Arrows in December was the latest foul.
I mean, showing off stats. Here's the ball. I mean, look at Mahoche September, the run. And the weight on the ball, plays it very well, creates space for himself, hoping that he'll get a second ball, and of course he does. But with his weaker foot, that was just his challenge, Mahoche. I think had he added a touch there with that ball on his, brought it to his right, could have maybe killed it further to the far post because the keeper is already out of the line.
Trying to visuals. That one, when I saw that angle from the front, that's a big miss there from Mohoje. From the initial angle, you thought good save off the line from Keenan Phillips, but had he hit it either side of the defender, that's a goal. Just side-footed anywhere there.
I think it's a weaker foot and he was stationary. I think had he been in motion, he would have put power on the ball, gave it proper direction.
Oh, okay. He's already in Monday. There's Mtimbane. Approaching a quarter of an hour in this game. It's been the man from the Free State who've really shown that form and that fizz and that bravado that saw them win the 2018-19 multi-choice Tiski Challenge title. And there's vets, I think, that are taking a bit of strain in the 31-degree heat of Soshanguve. Perhaps they're feeling the heat mentally in the title challenge as well, more so than we think. Oh, Mohoje. Touch from Chwene. Bit of over elaboration.
Too much of a good thing. Could have added touches, moved forward, waited for teammates to open up.
And more here's a Makola. He's been prolific from this right-hand side. The first real crossover that he's been able to provide, and no one makes a run to meet the ball.
I mean, Ngobeko Mtimane almost tapped it into his own net.
Mapena cut him back in on his favorite right foot, and I think he telegraphed that far too much. The 18-year-old. Horn. Big booming across from his left foot, but to no one in particular there for former Black Aces, a fullback. In fact, he's celebrating his 20th birthday in a couple of weeks or so.
A player you wouldn't mind seeing in the first team, growing in there, if maybe the age does not allow him to play in the MTC. A player you'd want to loan out just to give him more game time in the bigger stages, bigger scales of the game. He's one for the future.
Mapena, Mashinini lose our possession with the clever boys. They're lacking a bit of sharpness. They sort of picked up in the opening 31 minutes. This is a team that scored the most amount of goals in the division, 52. It's 8 better than the nearest rivals Downs. There's a foul on Mapena.
And the thick of things, especially in the center of the park, it's been happening. A position where the likes of Deon like taking the set pieces out from. They've got the technique, they've got the power. He might want to go for goal.
Is it Horn or is it September? The wall still not the most solid of walls you'll see, perhaps lacking in that cement. Keep it together. The run team will still organize his charges. I think it suits a right foot more than a left footer. But there's September with a two-pace run-up. Clips it back post for Keenan Phillips. It's a clever idea, but execution off. Bloom Celtic defense switched off there.
I think he needed to go for goal rather.
Well, hindsight is a great thing. Yeah. Had it hit the top corner, or had that worked from Keenan Phillips' right foot, would have been saying something else. It was a cross from Mlangeni. His influence has started to dwindle a bit as the game has gone on. That's disappointing.
I don't know, maybe if it's exhaustion or what. Unnecessary shot.
It is hot.
The man right next to the coach actually decides to take a shot like that. That worries the coach now.
Bit of rush of blood to the head there. Love the coach's reaction. Hands on hips. It's Captain Mlotra looking to force the issue. Mohoja has been the catalyst of all things good for Bloom Celtic as a shot out of nowhere. It comes from Tepa Mutoyi. Prince switched on. He came out of absolutely nowhere. The game almost slowed down and then pop he went.
Initially he wanted to play Mohocha, but Mohocha said go for goal. I'm not running them down. He doesn't have a left foot to put in a cross, so it was fair for Mohocha not to waste the ball, rather test the keeper, force him to pull a save. Good smart decision by Mohocha to allowing Mutoyi to take the responsibility. Remember now, the coaches has been expressing that some of his players are afraid of taking the final touch responsibility. So this is a good move.
Could hear Mohoja sharp and sharp. He switches it over with a curling left foot. Swings it and teases the Prince, who almost went from a hero to zero there. For a second I thought he was swinging in the back post. Not to be.
Hello there.
Well, it had the potential.
Yeah. Now, Wits in the attack, Wits on the transition. It is Horn looking to combine with Mapena. The call is offside. The official to this near side says nope. He's still on, remove. There's a nice reverse pass, but again, just lacking a bit of quality, that end product. They are not lacking in endeavour though. See some of the Bloom Celtic subs in the back there. It's been put through their paces. As we mentioned earlier, no reserve goalkeeper in amongst those lads. I want to ask, in fact, how do you pick in such instances? Let's say keep, unfortunately, or in the instance get injured or perhaps booked and sent off. How do you pick which player goes in between the sticks? What makes a goalkeeper from an outfield player?
I don't think the coach has much role to play there, but a player puts their hand up and say, I can take it. Sometimes when you play around in a training ground, teammates would have the trust that, oh, you like playing keeper sometimes.
Left the ball behind it from Mutoyi.
So at the end of the day, it's about the players willing to just take one for the team and play that role.
Let us know at home as well. Hashtag Asizali. Hashtag it's massive. What do you think the criteria is for picking a player, an outfield player who to deputize for a goalkeeper that vacates the position, particularly when the side doesn't have a reserve goalkeeper? Now Mapena, it's Kaiser, the 18-year-old bundling through a couple of bodies, static team members waiting for the delivery. Nothing ever came. Three of players in white are counted.
The
waiting
teammates.
for the ball, never came.
Teammates, Semba, they dropped their heads the moment he did not release the ball the first time when they made the rounds. He needed to lay it very nice, hard and low. Yeah.
Mkiva. I didn't share too much about Sunon Jongo Mkiva. He's taking a knock in a painful looking place.
Very soon he'll be getting himself into the coaches in the ref's books. I mean, his tackles haven't been that clean thus far, so he needs to at least find himself winning balls fair enough. That is the Seri Mohabi alongside Mkiva. A striker, I haven't seen much of him. They've denied him the ball most of the time, so they need to at least utilize him, because now he's peeled away to the side, trying to play from the wing and then coming back deep.
It's a Makola. Perhaps something that give me an indication as to why maybe Celtic have played better than we anticipated in this encounter. The next something about Pitori, I'll tell you why. They've beaten Supersport United twice this season. We say that is far above them in the league. So maybe they're like, Ramo Pitori, let's show our best foot. Pocket of space for Dondolo. Almost. Back again to lad from Garden City, Makola. Tries a speculative looking effort, shouldn't test Lerato Figo Rantimo.
Final touch, Temba, final touch. Makola does well to minus the opponents, but then the final touch, when he needs to lay it to his teammate, he decides to take a shot at goal. When he has to take a shot at goal, he rolls it for the teammate.
Just goes out there.
Well, it's only player who's given us life in this match. Mahoche, his runs are threatening.
I think Motoyi as well has done well from central midfield. And the players taking strife in the heat over Soshanguve. It is not easy, 31 degrees. We're still yet to hit 12 o'clock. It's Makola looking to turn on other heat for the clever boys who've well been really lukewarm in their approach in 38 minutes of football. Mind you, the pressure is on, particularly after that win from Orlando Pirates yesterday. They put together an impressive run of form, 6 wins on the bounce, taking maximum points and keeping clean sheets for fun. Now, what a block that is. Is it gonna loop in? No, this is not exceptional defensive play there. Oh, Prince. I've seen those go sideways. Sparks. His team need a spark. Just to breeze past Rosie Mashangu, not to be, leave space behind him, and Sparks and Makola seen a lot of the ball. Kiva hasn't. Spend more time on the turf more than on his feet. Deon Sinonjongo Mkiva. The Wits need to find some of that attacking potency. How big a loss has Rowan Human been, scoring the bulk of those 52 goals that the team have collectively got? He's got 12 of them. Wits incidentally have the best games to goal ratio in the division. They score roughly about 2.7 goals per game.
I think had he been here, he would have converted a goal by now. Taking into consideration the chances that Wits has had thus far.
We mentioned about the reserve goalkeeper situation. Well, it just come to reality. Not sure what happened to the goalkeeper from Bochabelo, Rantimo. Abraham Monteo deep in conversation with Itoko Mododo, perhaps discussing the options should the possibility present itself for a replacement. There's a game by numbers, Lerato Figo Rantimo. Interesting story, he left the team last season, the start of it, and went overseas, spent some time in Dubai and Spain, and came back this side.
I don't think he would want to come out now. He hasn't done that bad. It's the first half, the team depends on him. I mean, not having a reserve keeper, and he knows that very well. So you can't afford to have an injury. But if it's a forceful one, conversion, maybe.
Yeah, thumbs up, fist pump to the physio. It's always a good sign. Correction, he's done well, he hasn't done much. He hasn't been tested.
Well, driving the defense, communication, I mean, keeping the likes of Makola out of play.
Fair enough.
He's still part of playing. Maybe he was slowing down the tempo of the game. Wits has spent most of the time in the half, remember. It's just that Wits hasn't been converting.
Uncontested drop ball. Makola, his touch takes it past one, but not the second. A covering player in the form of Osia Khosane. I think the game has just started to peter away now with the end of the half approaching. The tempo that we saw just dropped off, and I think that's a result of the heat. Look at that, almost walking pace. I think they'd much rather be in the dressing room than out there, the players right now.
With the hope that the aircons are on to cool them down a little bit. I think another thing that drops the tempo of the game is the lack of scoring goals. Also drops a little bit, contributes towards the dropping of concentration.
Moche at it again, gives it to Duru. Duru, though, cannot complement his Chomane's approach play. At times has been really great to watch in terms of he manipulates the ball and his understanding of space, spatial awareness. Kaskowa.
In the thick of things, again in the center of the park, every 2 minutes or a minute there's a foul in favor of Wits. Bloem Celtic obviously not allowing them to play anything from the center.
Now it's the 19-year-old Mkiva. Oh, and they just like that switch it on as Bloem Celtic switched off. Crucial time, 3 minutes before the halftime break. Wits take the lead against the run of play, man. It's 1-0.
This is when you tick boxes. You said it's 19. Tick. He wears the number 19. Tick. Now, what else do you want to tick? He plays the number 9, not 19. He's there. Lethal pushes forward, bulldozes himself, ricocheted a little bit of the ball. But speaking of the sport, I mean, Figo had already went down, committed to the first ball. Poor clearance of the ball from Tebogo Mlangeni, could have cleared it better, but the pressure from him, Kiva, persistency as well.
it was not number 9, it's 19, Malik Mashinini. He's accredited for that goal. It was a third of the season, and Wits really needed that moment, and just to give themselves the confidence, get themselves started in the game. What a start that is, what a foundation it is. Perfect timing, what a time to score. Bloom Celtic will feel like it's a dagger to the heart. All that hard work undone. One team will beat a man.
Just before halftime.
Tough. Perfect timing if you want dishing out the pain. 60 seconds of optional time. Additional time added.
I'm sure in the vernacular commentary, our colleague said because it came in the last minute, and now it's about to be halftime. Okay. That changes surely. The team talk over Pupu Mushaba and Abraham Ndehu. Your thoughts very briefly of the half that we've seen against the run of play. Wits take the lead just before the halftime break. Mahoja and Co have been good, but perhaps have been not able to reward their efforts with a goal. I hope this set piece maybe gives them something. The likes of Mahoja have got the technique.
I just looked at his coach Titokamoto, just says swing it in with pace. He obliges us with Jomana. Good punch from Prince. My foot, you were saying here.
Bloom Celtic going into the change room, not much that they need to put themselves with. I mean, if you look here, they're there in the box trying to win the ball. I mean, really, there was no head and kick, but the ref just gave it to them. Bloom Celtic back to the drawing board. I mean, they need to just re-strategize, restructure their play, how they can convert their chances. They had a fair chance of going forward in the final third, not able to convert. About 3 or 4 chances they could have converted, but not their success. But Beatrice Wits, they stole it in the last minute of the first half.
The key sign of a good team is, well, putting yourself forward when you're not playing your best football. That's what Wits have done at the halftime break. It is 1-0 to the Clever Boys.